Okay, hello everyone and welcome to the next episode of the Speed Mooting Partners in Crime podcast. This is episode 32 of the Partners in Crime podcast, and John and I talked about a variety of things for you this week. Obviously the hot news this week is the US election results, so John and I talked a little bit about that as part of our commercial awareness corner. We talked all about our recent travels, including our trip to Nottingham University as part of our Advocacy Workshop series. John also helpfully explained the difference between mooting and advocacy. We also answered a great Ask Speed Squad question all about how the questioner can improve their mooting skills. And of course we talked about what's coming up, so we've got a few great Advocacy Club meetings for you this month. We've got a bail application competition coming up, and we've also got a brand new event coming up which hasn't launched yet, but we did tease you with some little snippets of information. So just as a reminder, for anybody that does want to be notified whenever we launch this new event, you need to be on our mailing list, which you can do for free on our website speedmooting.com/contact. But for now, enjoy this latest episode. Welcome to the podcast.
We are live.
Boom.
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome everyone. It's an exciting episode today.
It is an exciting episode. It's a big day. It's Wednesday morning, and there was a bit of a competition last night. Mm-hmm. Kind of the biggest competition in the world.
No, not the National Speed Mooting competition.
Oh, sorry, the second biggest competition in the world took place last night. US election. Full results aren't out yet, but I think the winner's been declared at this point. So we'll be talking about that because, of course, that's significant to commercial awareness. So we'll be talking about that in due course. But before we do, we need to name our episode.
Drum roll.
So we're on episode 32, which means, Hayley, we've been recording for
31 weeks.
31 weeks. That is crazy, isn't it?
That is insane.
Wow, it's been going for some time. 31 weeks, you might say. But anyway, we like to name the episodes, and we name them after a Formula 1 driver with a corresponding number. So on the current numbering system, there's no one with number 32, quite frankly.
Okay.
The 30s are a bit rubbish. I think there's only ever been 3 or 4 drivers who have had numbers in the 30s. So I'm going to revert. I'm going to go back in time. And he's had one episode dedicated to him. He can have another.
Okay.
Because some would say the greatest driver of all time.
Michael Schumacher.
Got
it in one.
So when he drove for Jordan back in 1991, he came in, he actually replaced another driver who'd been arrested. So Eddie Jordan, who's the team boss, or was the team boss at Jordan, needed a new driver. And I remember hearing this story. Basically, whoever Schumacher's manager said, spoke to Eddie Jordan, and Jordan's like, has he ever driven Spa? 'Cause that's where the race was. Oh, he knows Spa brilliantly, knows that track like the back of his hand. He'd cycled it once.
Wow.
And he came in, absolutely obliterated qualifying, put it right near the top, out-qualified his teammate, all the rest of it, and would have been on for a good result, but I think it was his gearbox or a clutch went on lap 1, and then he had an alright career from there. So he literally, the next race, signed up by Benetton, and the rest is history. So he had number 32 on his car for that race. So we've got Michael Schumacher. We've mentioned footballers in the past, and this chap has had an episode before. We'll give him another one.
Who is it?
So this is the number he had at the end of his career. It's
end of his career. Oh, you're about to say it?
I'll say who it is. You're never going to guess a random number 32, are you? Oh, I'll give you a hint. He's a Scouser.
I think you were going to say Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
Guessed it!
Yeah, and I think Beckham had 32 at the end of his career as well.
Ah, cool.
So welcome to episode 32, which is the Michael Schumacher, Wayne Rooney and David Beckham special.
Welcome.
Just before we move on from that point, though, I know people are eager to hear about our legal conversation, but just to take a step back, those who were listening last week will have heard that it was episode 31, the Esteban Ocon special. If you know a thing or two about Formula 1, you know he's driving for Alpine at the moment, who are it's fair to say they're not particularly good. Their car just isn't brilliant at this moment in time. However, I think we were a bit of a good luck charm for him, because we named it the Esteban Ocon Special. He finished P2.
Yep, which was like insane.
Insane, you know, that's unheard of. That's like, you know, an Alpine finishing P2 is like, I don't know, Bristol Rovers winning the Premier League, you know. I'm not big on football, so I don't know if that's a good or a bad analogy, but yeah, and his teammate got a podium, so double podium for Alpine. And I think we need to take credit for that one, Hayley.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
He was leading for most of it. I thought, he's not going to win the race this week, is he? But
that would have been.
That would have been. But yeah, P2. So if you're listening, Esteban, you're welcome. So, where should we start this week, Hayley?
I think we need to start with our commercial awareness corner, and we need to start with the breaking news.
The breaking news. So, we were watching a little bit last night, watching a little bit this morning.
Yep.
I mean, we're not really that politically charged, are we? We don't really follow.
No.
But it's always exciting. You know, a US presidential election, it's exciting. You got to watch it. And the news came through. Mr. Donald J. Trump, 47th President of the United States.
There we go.
So,
Donald Trump victorious.
Congratulations to Mr. Trump.
Yep.
And that brings us on to the consequences of his election.
Yep. So like we say, we're not politically invested in this. We've
got no dog in the fight.
No.
I mean, we're apolitical here at Speed Mooting anyway, so we don't really have any political persuasion one way or the other, whether it's British or American politics. So we're completely apolitical, and you know, so we've got no dog in the fight.
But you know, we're both lawyers, and this is a big event. This is a moment of history.
It is indeed.
You have to understand what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
You have to understand the wider implications and the smaller implications. So something like this will have a domino effect.
Of course it does.
On everything, including the UK. So even if you think that doesn't impact me, I don't need to know about that, well, actually you should be taking an interest in things like this.
Well, of course, you know, it's one of the superpowers, sort of economically and in many other ways as well, the United States. Of course, it has international implications, and you know, a lot of things I'm going to say are things I've literally learned from watching the the news channels overnight. But I think in the US, you know, they vote on a variety of different issues, and people prioritise various issues. And one of the things that they were saying, and one of the reasons for, you know, Donald Trump winning, is people put more faith in him when it came to the economy.
Yes.
And you know, looking at the markets this morning, certainly the S&P 500 is up. The pound has increased in value.
Gone up. I had a look before; it's up 1.4% already.
Yeah.
But stuff like that, I mean, this is why it's important to keep an eye on it, because there's always a huge knee-jerk reaction to stuff like this,
well,
and
exactly,
that's what happens in the stock markets and stuff as well. So the pound shot up now. I remember last election, was it either the election or it was Brexit, and the pound like plummeted immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
So everyone panics or elates, but it doesn't mean this is a long-term impact. But so keep an eye on it.
And as you say, this is a knee-jerk reaction. You know, he might be in power in 6 months. People don't like what he's doing, and the markets might flop.
Yeah, so, like I think they said Bitcoin has gone through the roof as well, because he's been saying along his campaign, like, I'm going to make Bitcoin like the number one currency in America or something. I might be exaggerating, but this is just what I've read earlier. So if that doesn't happen, Bitcoin will obviously come back down. So it's an ever-moving, ever-changeable beast, this. But these are just the things that are happening right now.
And I think the other thing to look out for, particularly those who are interested in tax law and maybe international taxation, is he's very, very big on tariffs.
Yeah.
I think he said it's his favourite word in the dictionary. And, you know, it's one of the ways he said he was going to basically bring more jobs to the US, as he wants production in the US and he wants to put tariffs on products coming in. So, you know, if you've got an interest in taxation and things of that nature, well, there's going to be huge shifts and huge changes there. So certainly keep an eye on what's going to be happening from that point of view.
Yep. And, you know, if you've got clients that are in that industry or are going to be touched by anything to do with that, which a lot of them will be, particularly the commercial side of things.
Yeah.
You know, they might be this is the type of thing they'd be getting in touch with their lawyers, going, "What does this mean?" This is why you have to know. So, as a law student, you know, take an interest now. there'll be so much commentary coming out
there will.
now and over the coming days. So it can be difficult to just watch the news and compute sometimes what that means. So that's what I used to do when I was a law student, watch the news and then go read some of the commentary around it. I imagine LinkedIn will be a good place for resource over the next few days.
Oh, people will be sharing all sorts. Yeah,
but just it's also a big time for people to be very, very opinionated. So take what you read with a pinch of salt and, check figures and check facts and watch what happens over the coming months and years, because what people say it means and is going to happen isn't necessarily the truth.
Think know your sources, because
exactly.
there is you'll go onto certain websites and it might be a website that's very heavily sort of biased in favour of Trump, so it might be more favourable. You might go onto a website that's not particularly a fan of Trump, and then therefore it goes the other way. So just be careful about where you're reading your sources. Have a look at it, read a couple of sources, and try and get a flavour of what the general consensus is, really.
Well, there we go. Big news. Keir Starmer congratulated him.
Did he?
Yes, which is interesting, because I remember reading something to say there was apparently, and once again, pinch of salt, I don't know if the full truth is this, but there's a bit of animosity between there. Apparently a few members of Keir's cabinet have said some not so favourable things about Trump, and so he's obviously extending the olive branch. Very clever, Mr. Prime Minister.
He's you can see the barrister coming out of him.
Oh yeah.
But it's there's you expect a good relationship between the UK and the US. So you can
of course,
so
I'm sure regardless of what's happened, if anything has happened, they'll be extending hands to each other now because they've got to work together.
Yeah, even Boris came out and congratulated him, and I know that Boris said. In the run-up to 2016, Boris was not a big Trump fan. I don't think so. Yeah, it's one of those. But yeah, as I say, we're completely impartial on the topic. But, you can't ignore it. It's important. It's a big day. It's a momentous day. And have a look at what's going to happen going forwards.
Yep. And if you have any questions for us on it, ask Speed Squad and we'll do our best to answer them.
Do our best to answer. Obviously, we're not going to give you any opinions on anything.
Nope.
But we'll answer as best as we can.
Yes.
So, moving on. We were on the road again this week, weren't we, Hayley?
The end of last week as well, because I think when we were recording this, we were about to go to Cambridge.
We were. We're doing that much travel, I can't even remember where I've been.
No, so we went to Cambridge, we came back. I think we told the audience last week as well that we were going to go watch Hocus Pocus.
Oh, yes, we did.
Yep, so for anyone that did watch last week's episode, we didn't make it to the drive-in cinema.
No.
We would have got back in the nick of time, but we'd been in the car for 4 hours. We were like, do we really want to spend our evening in the car?
Exactly.
So we opted to sit at home and watch Hocus Pocus on Disney Channel instead.
Yeah, it was just as fun, I think.
Yep, so John, last week we were talking about how you had never seen it. Give the audience your view.
So,
would you recommend it?
I'll give my review of Hocus Pocus. So, yeah, I would recommend the film. It was quite fun, quite entertaining. So it starts out and, it's set sort of 300-400 years ago, isn't it? And I'm thinking, okay, yes, it's going to be, sort of an old historic film. And the next thing, it jumps to a classroom in 1993 and you look at me and go, yeah, it's not going to be all in the past stuff. But yeah, no, it's quite fun, quite interesting. And a bit of a plot hole. And they don't really explain why the cat can only speak to the children in the film.
I don't think that's a thing. I think he can speak to everyone, but...
Oh, but he only decides to speak... Because, at the time, you'd think he'd be pleading with his dad and saying, no, look, it's me.
Yeah, because they say, don't they, oh, poor Zachary Binks, no one ever learnt what became of him. Why didn't he go like, Dad, yo, I'm a cat?
That would have been sensible, wouldn't it?
Or when they're trying to get all the mums and dads and the fake police officer and stuff to help, and no one believes them.
Yeah.
You could have just held the cat up and gone, tell them, Binks. Yeah. And they would have believed it then. But there'd be no movie.
I suppose they wouldn't. That's a fair point, isn't it?
So we can forgive the plot holes.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a third one coming out.
Oh, okay.
Which I have mixed feelings about. It's kind of a quit while you're ahead situation.
I've heard the second one was...
It's okay for like the nostalgia of it, the same characters are back and it's good, but the story isn't as good, and they should have left. It was good. I imagine it made them a lot of money, but a third one, I'll still watch it.
So
Okay.
I'm playing right into their hands, aren't I? Like,
Yeah.
I will still watch it, but yeah, not as excited about the third as I was for you to watch the first one.
Oh, okay. But no, I recommend it. And particularly given the time of year, you know, it's a Halloween film, watched it on Halloween. So, yeah, it was quite fun. But now we've had Halloween, we had bonfire night last night. Which we down in Cambridge, they call it fireworks night down there, don't they?
Yeah, fireworks night, not bonfire night.
Yeah, it's bizarre. I wonder if it has like different names around the country. If you know, comment below. Tell us if you call it something different where you are. But yeah, they call it fireworks night.
Yeah, they do. They do.
So we have that. It's now the 6th of November. That means we're officially on the run to Christmas.
So it's acceptable to put up your decorations, start playing the Christmas tunes, bring out the mulled wine, put on the Christmas jumpers.
Oh, absolutely. Do you know what? I'm going to embrace it this year, because normally I'm a little bit late to the party, and then a week before I go, oof, it's Christmas next week. Let's start, doing Christmas stuff. So, but you know what? This year, I'm going to get into it.
You feeling it?
Yeah, feeling it. Who knows? We might even record a podcast in a Santa hat or something.
Oh, yeah, it's got to be done. Christmas jumpers.
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely have Christmas jumpers.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're on the run to Christmas, so I'm going to start getting festive.
Good. So yeah, that was Cambridge.
And
Halloween and bonfire night. And then on Monday, we also drove up?
Where did we go?
Nottingham.
That's down.
We drove down.
Kind of down and across, because you go down the M6 and then you go across the A500.
Oh, okay. We drove to Nottingham.
Yeah. Well, it's down. It's south for us anyway.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah, it's south, so it's down.
So we visited the University of Nottingham and we put on an advocacy workshop.
We did.
For their Bar Society and their Mooting Society.
Yeah.
So this was our first collab of this academic year. And I think it was a pretty good one.
I think it was, wasn't it? I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that it was a good turnout as well, actually.
It was, considering it was 6 o'clock at night.
I know.
And some of them had a lecture that had only just finished.
That's mental. You know what? Because they were telling us that, weren't they? Some of their lectures go on till 7 o'clock occasionally.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
they must have a lot more faith in the students of this today than students in our day, because they would never do that. And if they did, they'd have about 20% of the class in attendance.
Maybe that's the plan.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, no, so we ran, effectively, our workshop was a live, in-person advocacy club. So we based it on the bail application. So we had a nice introduction from Hannah Jackson.
Yep.
Who sort of organised things on their end. Hannah's brilliant.
She is, yeah.
And so nice introduction from Hannah. And then I came up, gave a bit of an introduction as to what the night was about, what the Advocacy Club is, what a bail application is. And then we split people off into small... I keep going to say breakout rooms, but we're not on Zoom, we're in person, aren't we?
Breakout rooms.
I suppose they're still breakout rooms, aren't they? Because maybe that's where the name comes from. So they went off into classrooms, and within their groups of 4 or 5 people, they each got the opportunity to perform a bail application and shared feedback with each other. And then at the end, they all came back in, and I delivered a presentation on basically advocacy training, so general tips for advocacy, but then specifically tips for this bail application. And then we had a bit of a Q&A session at the end. And everyone was really engaging, weren't they? We got some fantastic questions.
We really did, yeah. And it was really fun, it was light-hearted, which is exactly the vibe we want at the Advocacy Club. So it was nice that we could recreate that for the in-person event as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were laughing and joking about sitcoms and TV
yeah.
shows. The showers of the night, you know where this is going.
I know where this is going.
So, we had a question, which you can answer this for the podcast as well. So someone asked what the difference is between advocacy and mooting. And maybe you answer the question first, and then I will tell them what you said that was funny.
Okay, so because I was talking about the fact that we do some mooting competitions and we do advocacy competitions. So to answer the question, what I said is, advocacy is the umbrella term, so mooting is a form of advocacy. So advocacy just simply means, advocating, standing up, speaking. That is advocacy. So mooting is a form of advocacy, but the reason I distinguished it is because we have mooting, which is a very specific form of advocacy, and then the general advocacy competitions. So the way I distinguish them in that sense, you have mooting, which is a mock appeal case. So an appeal case could be anything, crime, family, civil, whatever. You have some sort of trial or some sort of issue at first appearance, one or the other party isn't happy, and then it gets appealed on a point of law to Court of Appeal, Supreme Court, wherever your moot's going to take place. And the purpose of the moot is you are arguing over that one specific point. So the facts are undisputed, the facts are all agreed. It's just there's a point of law in dispute. So taking a previous example of one of our moots, we had a sportsman who gets injured, says to the doctor, to be able to perform, cricket player, need to be able to perform, please take my finger off. So goes to the doctor amputates the finger, he can carry on playing. The doctor then gets prosecuted for a Section 18 assault because it's a GBH taking someone's finger off. Mm-hmm. And in law, you can't consent to a GBH. So the facts were all agreed, no one disputes about what's happened and why it's happened. The issue was, in the circumstances, was the doctor in the right? Is that an exception to the general rule? And that's what you're arguing over, the law. So one party is saying, here's what the law says, here's how it applies, this appeal should be allowed. The other party saying, no, here's what the law is, here's how it applies, no, it shouldn't be allowed. So you're having an argument over the law. Advocacy, on the other hand, when we're talking about it as in our advocacy competitions, we're just saying any form of competition that isn't a moot.
Yeah.
That isn't that. So, for example, we do a bail application competition, a plea mitigation competition. At the Advocacy Club, we're covering, witness handling, trial advocacy, all the rest of it. So, the plea mitigation, for example, your client's been charged with an offence, they've pleaded guilty in the example, let's say. The prosecutor opens the case, says, here's the facts, here's where it falls on the guidelines, and your job is to stand up and present that piece of advocacy, that plea mitigation, and say, my client shouldn't go to prison because X, Y, and Z. You're presenting the mitigating factors, you're arguing over the sentencing guidelines. So that's all we're doing there. Mooting falls within the umbrella of advocacy. Mm-hmm. When I was making my point, I was just separating it into two.
Yeah, so then John said something really funny that had us all in hysterics. I'm probably going to say it wrong, so if you remember it, you say it.
Okay, do you want me to say it?
Yes.
So I said, mooting is a form of advocacy, but there's forms of advocacy that aren't mooting. So think about it like the 5 fingers on your hand. All thumbs are fingers, but not all fingers are thumbs. And by analogy, you got your mooting. So mooting is a form of advocacy, but not all advocacy is mooting.
There we go.
So that was the analogy. And do you know where I got that one from, Hayley?
Where did you get it from?
I got it from The Big Bang Theory. So they were talking about hot tubs or something, or jacuzzis, and Sheldon stops and goes, hang on, are you talking about an actual jacuzzi or a hot tub? Because a jacuzzi is a specific brand of hot tub. Oh, wow. He said so all jacuzzis are hot tubs, but not all hot tubs are jacuzzis.
Wow.
And then the guy, I can't think of his name, you'll probably know it, the guy that used to go out with Penny from the gym.
Is
it Zach or something?
Zach, yeah.
Zach, yeah. Turned around and goes, oh, so it's like your hand then? Because all thumbs are fingers, but not all fingers are thumbs. And that one just stuck in my head, and it just came to me when someone asked me that question.
Okay, so that was a quick recap on what we've been up to. Shall we talk about what we've got on for the rest of the month?
Yeah. So we talked about our bail application competition. All the places are gone. We said that early November they would go, and coming into this month, we had 2 places left, which were snapped up like that on day 1 of the month. So they're all gone.
Yep.
That competition will take place on the 7th of December. Mm-hmm. So it's an online bail application competition. Should be very fun. We've got many, many, many judges taking part, haven't we?
Yep.
So it's going to be an exciting competition. We have 2 Advocacy Club sessions this month. Public speaking and speed mooting. So we've got speed mooting. So it replicates the style of our competitions in the sense that we give you all the materials. You get pre-drafted skeleton arguments, all the case law, so you don't need to do any research or any drafting. And you just need to effectively read it, present your submissions, and come along and have some fun with a moot on the night.
Indeed. And for the public speaking, there's always a theme of the evening, isn't there, John? So something that John will focus on when he gives his tips and feedback at the end of the session. And this month's theme is building confidence. So big, important one. Important. And the thing that stops, I would say, 90% of people from public speaking is because they lack the confidence, or they don't have confidence in their own ability. So this is a really good session for you to come along to, particularly if you are a beginner and if you're feeling very nervous. let John boost your confidence.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. And I think confidence is half the battle.
Yeah.
Because you can know your material, you can know how to do all the different techniques, etc. If you're going out there and you're nervous, you're not going to have the ability to speak loud, to look at the audience, etc. So once you overcome that sort of inner lack of confidence, your ability to grow is crazy. And funny enough, it's a bit of an election special. We're talking about it. I think one of the best public speakers you will ever see is Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. Take a look at him online, watch some speeches that man does. One of the best public speakers there's ever been, I would say. So watch him and you'll learn so many tips and so many techniques. Yeah,
that's what's coming up for the Advocacy Club.
Yeah, that's what we've got coming up.
And we also have another big event coming up this month.
We certainly do. The 23rd of November.
23rd of November, we are off to London for Target Jobs National Pupillage Fair.
The National Pupillage Fair. We are looking forward to it.
We really are. So they endorsed and supported our very first Northern Pupillage Fair. Forever grateful to them for that. So, of course, we are returning the favour, endorsing and supporting theirs. So we're really excited. The goodies are all ready to go.
They're ready to go.
Yep, and we're looking forward to meeting lots of aspiring lawyers on the day.
So we're going to have a stand there. Come along, come and speak to us. You're going to meet the full Speed Mooting team there. Hayley and I will be there. My parents, they like to come along to these events. So there's plenty of us to speak to at the event. Got loads of brilliant goodies, haven't we, Hayley?
Oh, yeah.
Loads of fantastic goodies.
We're not going to tell you what they are.
No.
But they're very, very good.
And as a bonus, I will be delivering an advocacy session on the day as well. So you'll also get to see me in action. So I hope you enjoy that. It's going to be quite historic, having the opportunity to do an advocacy session at Lincoln's Inn.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Considering you used to go to this very Pupillage Fair, didn't you?
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
And now you're not only exhibiting, but you're like one of the key speakers on the day.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I speak about this all the time, but I remember one of the talks I went to see was on criminal law.
Yeah.
And, it just dispelled so many myths. I talk about this all the time, but, the chap I went to see, talking about legal aid being cut, and he said, he says to everyone, has anyone here ever billed a legal aid case? Put your hand up. No one puts their hand up. We're all students, but no one's in practice yet. He said, so your fees aren't being cut. He said, so you just, you've come into this profession, you cut your cloth accordingly. And it kind of dispelled the myth that criminal barristers are poorly paid. You're saying, you're still going to make a good living in this industry. And, just talking about, don't worry if it takes time. Mm-hmm. And, even coming out of it, I still was a bit worried, it's going to take some time. But I came to the profession even later than this guy did.
Yeah.
And it's not held me back. It's catapulted me so far. So hopefully someone will listen to my talk and maybe
be equally inspired.
Yeah, even just one little nugget of information, and I've done a good job.
Yeah, brilliant. So if you want to go along to that, as we say, it's the 23rd of November, and you register via their website.
Yeah.
I imagine it's targetjobs.com, but I will put the link up here for people
link
to see.
will appear, or go on our Pupillage Fair page, speedmooting.com/pupillage-fair. Scroll to the bottom, we've got a link to their page as well.
And while you're registering for theirs, you can pre-register for ours, because we will be back in 2025 with the Northern Pupillage Fair.
Yeah. And it's going to be bigger, it's going to be better. Our first one was incredible.
Yeah.
Not to sound...
better than we could have ever imagined in our wildest dreams.
Yeah, really was. And if you thought that one was good, wait until you see what we've got in store for 2025.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So if there was anyone that doubted us, joke's on you.
Exactly. And we had them.
We did. There's always, what do you call them, naysayers?
The naysayers.
Yeah, exactly. But for the most part, people are massively supportive of what we do. And we couldn't do it without the support and the partnership and the sponsors, etc. So everyone that is coming along this amazing journey with us, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And for those who don't support us, we're not going to talk about you.
You can just keep looking at our Instagram page in awe of what we're doing.
Amazing. So that was a really, really good collaboration with Nottingham. We've got a lot more lined up.
We do.
For this year, so I think we've got another two
this month.
Woo, Yes, so if you're listening to this and you represent your bar society, your mooting society, you know your law tutors very well, etc., and you think, gosh, it'd be great for speed mooting to come to our university, even your chambers, you know, if you're a pupil, if you're a junior, etc., your law firm, get in touch with us, info@Speed Mooting, and we can explore collabs with you.
Yeah.
There's a real mix to what we can do. So similar to this one, we could do the advocacy workshops. We can also do some bespoke training. We can do talks. You know, we're really, really open, and they can be in person or online. So get in touch.
Yeah, the options are out there. Get in touch. Let's have a chat and see what we can do.
Boom.
So, Hayley, do you have any questions for me?
Do we have any questions? Of course we do, John. So let's move on then to Ask Speed Squad.
Let's do it.
So this is from a first year law student and an aspiring barrister.
Okay.
So they've just took part in their very first moot. So there's a few bits that they got some feedback on and they want your assistance to improve for next time.
Okay.
So it's a very long message, so I'm going to paraphrase what they're asking, but the feedback they got was they had good eye contact, but the judges could still tell that they were very heavily reliant on a script.
Yeah.
And people told them the way to combat this is to go down from a full script, get it down to bullet points, etc. But there wasn't enough time for them to do this. It was the traditional moot where there's tons of research and drafting involved.
Yeah.
So they would have struggled to do that. So the question for you, John, is just how they can get off script faster and easier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reality is it's one of those skills that comes with time. So the more that you move, the more that you do in public speaking and advocacy, the quicker that you can make that transition from having an initial script to getting down to bullet points or something that you can kind of glance at. Okay, I remember what I'm doing. So the answer is that there's no real way around. Just keep continuing to practice, and the more you. So let's take this example. Let's say this particular person's typed out a speech. Just practice it a few times. Practice, and you get to the point whereby you remember the points that you've made. Hopefully, you'll have your skeleton arguments as well. Well, you will have a skeleton argument there.
Yeah. And
if it's one of these moots where you've had to go off, do the research, and then draft it yourself, you'll remember some of the points when you've put this together anyway, because you go, okay, right, well, I've included this case because this case says, you know, whatever point it says, and this is the point it's going to help me prove. So hopefully, when you've done the research, you'll remember why it is you've included those cases in there, and you can kind of expand upon that. It's like that thing that they say that, you know, if you can't explain something simply, you don't really understand it.
Yes.
So if you've understood the points properly to point them into your skeleton argument, by the time you come to the moot itself, you hopefully should have a little bit of background knowledge, should have something embedded within your brain that you can kind of come back to. So all that's going to happen is, in time, the more moots that you do, the better you're going to become at having a script initially, practicing it a couple of times and going, right, I remember that point, here's how I'll expand upon that when it comes to the submissions themselves. So
there's no magic shortcut.
There's no magic shortcut. It just takes the reps. It's like, you know, how am I going to get in the gym from bench pressing 50 kilos to 100 kilos or whatever? It just takes time and just working your way through those reps. It's the same process.
There we go. So don't be disheartened. You know, this was your first time mooting, and it sounds like you did really well, and you'll get there. Just keep doing it, keep practicing, and eventually you'll be able to come off script that much faster.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, I was exactly the same. I got the same feedback in my very first moot. I was reading from a script because, well, I was. You know, there's no two ways about it. I'd not done, or probably not done any public speaking. If you know. Short of maybe, you know, reading out a passage in school or something, you know, not really done any public speaking at all. And so it's the same point, it takes time, and you need a few bad experiences, a few negative experiences like this to learn from. So that's how you grow and that's how you improve. You know, you're never going to have it whereby, you know, if you get to the point where you practice so much that your first ever performance is perfect, but you've probably taken too long before you do your first performance. Yeah. You know, so you need these experiences, get some feedback, and then grow from there.
Okay, perfect. And then they've also asked you for some advice on the right to apply. So I think in this moot, they said they were the lead appellant. Okay. And obviously they had everything prepared for their submissions, but then it came to the right of reply, and they said they really struggled with it because they didn't know how much preparation or how to prepare for this.
Okay.
And the feedback they got was they were covering things that they didn't need to, and the judge was flipping the respondents' questions onto them, and it was throwing them off. And just the right of reply, how, first of all, just explain to people what that is in case they don't know, and then how do you recommend people prepare for it and deal with it?
Okay, so your right of reply. So in a traditional sort of old school 2-on-2 moot, so you have, you know, your lead appellant, junior appellant, lead respondent, junior respondent, and then once all submissions are made, it goes back to the lead appellant and the lead respondents as well to have a few minutes at the end, normally 2 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer, to respond to any submissions. Now, with a traditional moot, you will exchange skeleton arguments a few days, maybe a week in advance, so you'll know what your opponent's points are. So what you could do is, you could, you know, particularly if you're typing a script, make a few little amendments once you've seen your opponent's skeleton arguments and weave in some of your rebuttals into your actual submission itself. So you might say, well, you know, my learned friend is going to refer to the case of whatever. I can distinguish that by saying, you know, so whatever point it is, you know, whatever they're coming at you with, you could possibly deal with that and weave that into your own submissions anyway, which then makes your right to reply a little bit shorter anyway.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be something that comes up during the right of reply. You'll always want to say something. So when you hear your opponent's actual submissions, start making some notes as you're going along, just little points that you'd want to respond to. And, you know, you can think about this from questions raised by the judge as well. You know, you might think of further points there. And when it comes to sort of judicial intervention, and I think the same will apply to the right of reply as well, think about what your opponent's strongest points are. Think about how you're going to deal with them, because ultimately that's where your questions by way of judicial intervention come from. Mm-hmm. So think about what the weaknesses in your case are and what the strengths of your opponent's case are, because that's what's going to come up in their submissions. And you'll know that that's what you need to deal with in your right of reply. And, you know, there's often a temptation to think, well, if I've got 3 minutes, I need to use the full 3 minutes. Sometimes you can deal with everything within just 1 minute.
Yeah.
And do so. And the final point I'm going to make on that is try and have some structure to your right of reply as well. So don't just go and say, well, you know, just waffle on. Have a little bit of structure. So I now want to deal with certain points raised by my learned friend. The first point with which I will deal is this. So, you know, you've got a bit of a structure there.
Yeah.
And then you summarise it. So you say, for these reasons, I would submit that the appeal should still be allowed.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it might be. So just have a little bit of structure to your right of reply.
There we go. Yeah. But just some, you know, general feedback for this person. You know, it's great that you're starting mooting so early. Yeah. You're obviously thinking a lot about this. You've taken all the feedback on board. You're bringing it across to us, asking us questions on how to improve. So you're doing everything right, and you will. All of these points will only get better with, as John says, with practice. So, you know, keep going. I'm sure you'll be a very skilled mooter in time and a great advocate in the future.
Oh, absolutely. You know, if you're taking it this seriously to the point that you had feedback, you've taken it on board, you've thought about the feedback and thought, well, the points that I've been critiqued on, how do I improve those? And then you've come out, you've asked us the question, you know, you're miles ahead. You know, you're really thinking about this well. So you are going to be such a different advocate 18 months, 2 years down the line. Mm-hmm. Even quicker than that, to be fair, if you're practicing more regularly. Yeah.
Definitely. And if you're not already, make sure you're on the Speed Mooting mailing list, because we will have a few opportunities for you to practice mooting with us coming up in 2025.
We certainly do.
And the good news is with us, you don't have to do any research or drafting.
Nope.
So you'll have plenty of time to practice your oral submissions and to get off a script.
Yeah, it's all about oral advocacy, because we know that's, you know, that's the area that people need to improve on. Your research, your drafting, all the rest of it. Well, you're doing that all the time anyway. As part of your law degree, you're typing up problem questions, you're typing up, or, you know, you're doing your research, so you're dealing with that anyway.
Yeah.
When it comes to advocacy, people just want to practice the oral side of it, and that's why we give you everything. You don't need to do any prep, you don't need to do any research, you don't need to do any drafting. Prepare your submissions, come and practice.
Yes. There we go. So Before we finish, we'll just do a little teaser to something that we are planning right now. So most of you will know that the Pupillage Gateway opens soon. So you'll all be thinking about your pupillage application. You'll be looking for things that can help you along the way.
Yeah.
Well, we have an event planned that is going to assist you. Can't say much more than that for now, but we will say make sure you've subscribed to us, you've signed up for our mailing list, speedmooting.com/contact, so you'll find out about this as soon as we are ready to launch it. But we are going to do what we do best, which is assist people breaking into the legal profession.
Absolutely. I mean, we had an initial idea for what we were going to do, and then we started to brainstorm and chat and things through. We've taken this to a whole other level. This is something that's never been done before.
Yeah.
It's crazy, as most of our ideas are, and it's going to work, and it's going to be brilliant. So we're looking forward to announcing this. Hopefully we'll be announcing it very, very soon. It's a crazy idea, but it's brilliant, and it's going to provide such good opportunities for those who are aspiring barristers, those who are looking to complete their pupillage gateway applications this year. So keep an eye out soon. If you're not on the mailing list, get yourself on the mailing list, because you will not see another opportunity like this.
No. And it will be people that can participate to certain elements of this event. The numbers will be limited.
Yeah, numbers are going to be limited, so it's going to be a case of sign up as soon as you can.
Yeah. I mean, we will bring content and opportunities to everyone that doesn't have a limit, because we like to do that anyway. But there's a very special part of this event that will be limited. So get on our mailing list, because I can guarantee the mailing list will snap up all of those places.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of people on our mailing list.
This isn't an event that'll, as soon as we launch this event, this will fill up that day.
Yeah.
I'm that confident this will fill up in a day. So if you want to know about this, get on the mailing list.
Yeah. We'll stop teasing you now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be good. So if you're applying for pupillage this year, you want to take part in this event. Yeah. That's all we'll say. And it's going to be completely free.
Oh, completely free of charge as well.
Yeah.
So absolutely free of charge. So get on that mailing list. Well, that brings us to the end of another episode.
Indeed.
I've certainly enjoyed recording this one. Hayley, have you enjoyed it?
I've enjoyed it, John.
For those who are still listening, you are the OG listeners, let's say. So
the key word has got to be thumb.
Thumb, yeah, absolutely. So if you're still listening at this point, drop us a comment. Thumb.
Or the thumb emoji.
Yeah, a thumb emoji, yeah, even better. Give us a thumb emoji. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the Michael Schumacher, Wayne Rooney and
David Beckham
special. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.